在那个没有手机、没有网络的年代，消失是很容易的事。我在是从哪一天开始不再闪闪发亮。
Wait, let's stop here. I believe most of the people have watched or know this Taiwanese romantic comedy drama film, which shows in 2015. It won 35th Hong Kong Film Award and got a really high box office. And many people were confused at how the film can be so successfully in the worldwide. And that is what I'm going to talk about today, the new Taiwanese cinema. And hi, I'm Cici. First, in order to make sure everyone is clear of what I'm going to say next, let's rewind it and trace back to the really beginning of it, the background of the new Taiwanese cinema. So, what is new Taiwanese cinema? Taiwanese New Wave cinema is a film movement that began in the late 1970s and continued into the 80s. The main characteristic of the movement are its anti-government views, its depiction of the underclass in society, and its commercialization of Taiwanese identity. Directors from Taiwan created independent and serious films that were both artistic and social commentary. To clearly understand of it, I'll first introduce the background of the Taiwanese New Wave, and I break down the background into 4 eras. First, Japanese occupation. Japan controlled the majority of media content in the early half of the century, and then film and production altogether, but this continued in 1937 due to Civil War. This went on until mid-1940s, when nationalists took over Taiwan. And then we move on to the Kuomintang era. End of the World War II, a civil war broke out between Chinese Communist Party and Chinese Kuomintang in 1949, and the Mandarin drama film in that period, like Wake Up from the Nightmare and Never Separated, became a tool of political propaganda. And the horror film after 1955, with a low budget and rough filmmaking, is restricted as soon as possible. In the health realism period, the film like Oyster Girls and Beautiful Darkling, the depiction of the society in the film are realistic and avoid the dark side of the society. Mostly the story is happening in the countryside with an enjoyable background music, because there's a less political issue in there, a kind of idealized realism and lack of criticism. And then we move on to social realism. It is also called Taiwan Black Movie, the movie like the first ever step. It is the social realist crime film. The film mostly combines sexual and physical violence with a story involving either political or economic gangsterism, reflect the dark side of Taiwanese based on a true story. And this is where the new wave comes in the early 1980s until early 1990s, when the first new wave began to arise. To revitalize the film industry, the state-run Central Motion Picture Corporation gave a ring over to young filmmakers like Hou Xiaoxian, Edward Young, and Cai Mingliang, pursued a radical break from the previous stylistic and aesthetic traditions. Taiwanese New Wave began with the film In Our Times. The film broke new ground by representing the social changes in Taiwanese society. The following year, Growing Up drew the attention of film critics in Taiwan. The film won several awards at Taiwanese Golden House Film Festival in 1983. In the following couple of years, more films such as The Sandwich-Man, One Day on the Beach were released, and the new wave of Taiwanese cinema emerged. And those are the characteristics of Taiwan's new wave, like they prefer shooting daily life, the personal growth narratives, and question about the modern life and cultural identity. And I actually mentioned one of the directors from Taiwan's New Wave. His name is Edward Young. Many critics have identified Edward Young as the urban director, a filmmaker most capable by presenting human relationship within the city. His work, for example, A One and a Two, structured the story in a family, beginning with the wedding and ending with the funeral. Everything in his film are so realistic, and audience can engage themselves in it. Behind every tragedy, there is an ordinary life, and this is the Taiwanese New Wave looks like in Young's eyes. And according to the article, The Study of the Work of Edward Young, the filmmaker Stan Lei shows the significance of the movement. You've got to think about making film that will appeal to the large international market. Also, the style of Young's work combines the theory in the West and Chinese aesthetic strategy together, makes everyone engaged in the film, and thus become the film in these days and lead to the development of commercial films. And those are the references that I used. Thank you so much.